Hello, how's it going? Oh my goodness. Okay, so hi, how's it going? Welcome to Queenie's Cards of the Month for the month of December. Fun, fun. I was trying to get this angled so that we didn't get the ever popular glare from the glasses, but I guess that is just what we're going to get. I announced it over on my Facebook page that I'm going live with the cards of the month, and that way we have a nice record of it and it doesn't disappear off of Facebook. And I can also share it with my YouTube folks. So don't forget to like and subscribe for more intuitive content and various other shenanigans that I get up to. Anyway, my name's Queenie, and I do intuitive readings, energy readings, and every month I put together a whole bunch of different card decks and read the cards of the month, and kind of talk to you about the potential energetic story of the upcoming month. So here we are. It is already December, and this is how we roll. So the main card deck that I use when I'm doing readings for other people, which I do, is the Fairies Oracle deck by Brian Froud. I have been using this deck since 1999, and as you can see, it's very thick. The reason it's thick is because I bought a second deck when my dog chewed up some of the cards. So sometimes when we're doing a whole layout for a client, we'll get double the card, which is kind of, it just kind of amplifies the meaning of the card. So that's kind of how I roll. And I like to pull the Fairies Oracle card for the influence of the whole month, like the overarching, the overarching theme of the month. And so let's shuffle and pull one. Welcome. Now, when I'm doing readings for other people, what I generally do is I have them either shuffle them or move the cards around until they feel like they have their energy in them, and then hand them back to me. And sometimes I've had people sit on them. I was joking around with someone, and so they decided that that's what they would do. And I said, fine, as long as they're in the same condition that they were when they went into your hands, I don't mind anything to get your energy in them. So I have shuffled the cards. I feel like I'm done shuffling, and now I'm gonna pull a card from. Hey, Ray. Oh, very nice, very nice. I don't think they give. I don't think they give that. Um, the mayo packets. Thanks. This is what we get for YouTube Live. That's the excitement. Anyway, thanks, Ray. So the overarching theme of the month of December in the Fairies Oracle deck by Brian Froud. Oh, nice. This is good. This is good. This is kind of just for Ray. Okay? My day's pretty good. This is Luathis the Wild. And Luathis the Wild is fiery, wants to take action, can't wait to touch themselves until they get home. No, they have to be in a McDonald's bathroom. Thanks, Ray. Anyway, Luathis the Wild is about impulsive action. It can be good and it can be bad. So what this tells me is that in December, we will be kind of chomping at the bit to move forward. And I do hear astrologically that there's a lot of planets in retrograde, including Mercury in retrograde right now, Gatorade. and Mars and a couple other planets are in retrograde, which means we want to move forward, but it doesn't seem like we're feeling like we can. Okay. But with Luathis Wild, the trick with this card is nice. Good for you. This is what YouTube Live is like. We get naughty bathroom talk and bee threats. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so this is perfect for Luathis the Wild. It's not being able to have very good impulse control. But the other thing about Luathis the Wild, and it may be action like feeling like you're a little out of control, running a little hot. Sometimes you have to hose yourself off because you're just a little bit too hot-headed. But what is also really good about this card, Luathis the Wild, is Luathis the Wild takes inspired action. And inspired action is when you know it's the right thing to do. It's, for instance, maybe you are out somewhere and you just get this, you just know that there's some sort of action that you need to take, or something you need to buy, somebody that you need to talk to, and you take that action. You know? And so Luathis the Wild gives you the inspired action. But a lot of times Luathis the Wild can be kind of running around just like his little hiney is on fire. And the best thing to do is to figure out how to step back, breathe, and think about what you're doing. So it seems like this month is going to be kind of a little intense, a little bit hot-headed. So there might be some real crabby stuff happening, which is not surprising. I think that we're all. I'm very sorry. And that would be. I'm. What's interesting is that I'm not seeing all the chat. I guess my view. I'm new at this enough to where my view is not. I'm seeing the chats as they come up, but I'm not able to see all of them, so I can go down and answer. But I just want to let you know that I'm seeing them as they come up. Anyway, so Luathis the Wild is the overarching theme of the month, which means that we might be a little hot-headed this month. We might be a little, be a little tantrumy. We also might be very, very impatient. Very impatient. So we're going to pull another card that is going to assist us with that impatience. Like, what will help? What will help? I generally pull a card and then I pull a support card. So I'm going to pull from the same deck a support card. This is like the Wild Wild West out there, is it? You know, this is one of my first YouTube lives, so I don't know. Wow. I'm very sorry. Well, the support card for Luathis the Wild is Arvel Parrot. And Arvel Parrot, as you can see, he's pointing at his throat, or they're pointing at their throat. This is about communication. So the most important thing to, I guess, to calm us down and to get us to where we're taking inspired action or a little bit more focused energy instead of just our rear ends on fire and we're running around burning everything, is to talk about it. Maybe talk about our feelings. Maybe speak from our heart instead of from the burning tush. So that's the support card. That's what'll help calm things down. I think that a lot of times we get really frustrated. Thank you, Camden. Um, Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, there could be some recognition in that Guinness Book World Record. All right. So the Arval Parrot is about communicating. It's about communicating from the heart. And I'm going to let people just play around in the chat because they want to, and they're enjoying themselves, and they're talking amongst themselves, and I'll look at it later. So, Luathis the Wild is the overarching theme of the whole month, which means that we might be a little hot headed, we might be a little impatient, um, we might have a we might be frustrated and impatient and couldn't and can't feel like we can't move forward, which is understandable. I think that January there'll be a little bit more forward movement, but energetically, I think that December is is a month where we're figuring out the steps that we want to take, and it might be frustrating to have to. We feel a little held back. Anyway, the best thing that we can do is speak from our heart. Talk about it. Express yourself. Write it in a journal. Write it in a journal. Okay, so now, generally what I do is I pull these cards for the overarching theme, and then I pull a tarot set of tarot cards for the where are we? For the beginning, the middle, and the end of the month. And I pull them from the major arcana, and this is the Blooming Cats deck because I am a cat lady. It happened. They showed up in my yard. And so the beginning of the month is going to cover from the 1st, which we've already passed the 1st, from the 1st to the 12th. Middle of the month is from the 13th to the 21st. And the end of the month is from the 22nd to the 31st. So here's what's happening. I think they got bored and left. That's all right. Anyway, so I use the major arcana cards because major arcana cards, it's connected to your soul evolution as opposed to the day-to-day cards, which are okay. It's a good thing my cats are semi-feral and I don't cuddle with them too much. Okay, so anyway, so the major arcana cards is about soul evolution, and the minor arcana cards is more about day-to-day stuff and some of the people in your life. So we are pulling major arcana cards. So the first card is for the first part of the month. This is from December 1st until December 12th. And I'm getting that. And then the next card is from December 13th to December 21st. That too. And the third card is from December 22nd to December 31st. All right. So the first card is the Fool. And so the Fool is about having to take a leap of faith. It's about having to really trust that you will be taken care of regardless of what's happening. So it's kind of understandable that at the beginning of the month we have all this energy where we want to move forward, we're not sure where we're going to end up, but we really want to move forward and we're chomping at the bit to move forward, which is a old lady horse term. Anyway, but we're chomping at the bit to move forward, but we're not exactly sure where we're going or what's happening right now. And so the beginning of the month with the Fool always takes a leap of faith. And the Fool takes a leap of faith and trusts that everything will be taken care of, even though they don't know exactly where they're going. And the Fool is card number 0. And card number 0 is the beginning. It's the beginning of the adventure. The Fool is at the start of the adventure. And as it goes through the major arcana, there's like to call it, it's a what is it? Spiral of manifestation. There are all these different levels. And so, thank you. And so the Fool card is for at the beginning of the month, which means, yes, we've landed in December. And I don't know about you, but my November was ridiculous. It was ridiculous in the sense that I fell down, I was limping most of the month, then I got COVID, and I just got over that. November was a wash, and I am kind of chomping at the bit to do stuff. I am a little anxious and a little impatient. So, but I don't know how it's all going to work out. I know that it's going to work out, but I don't know how it's always all going to work out. But so that's kind of like the Fool card. It's like, okay, you're at the beginning of something. You're not entirely sure what the path is ahead of you, but you know you're taking it. And I think that that can kind of go along with Luacus the Wild as well, because he doesn't know where he's going. He just knows he wants to go there. That's that. That's that one. And so the Fool is at the beginning of the month. So December is starting something. We may not know how it's going to pan out, and we may not know the steps that we need so far to get there, but we're starting something. Okay? Now, the next card jumps all the way to card number 20 in the Major Arcana, which is the Judgment card. So, the middle of the month, what's going to happen is we take that leap of faith and we have to trust that we're going to land where we need to. And then in the middle of the month, we have the Judgment card, where we are kind of ascertaining where we are and what might need to be done and what needs to be let go of and what needs to stay, and how we need to proceed. That's kind of the Judgment card. It's also I think that the Fool represents having let go of a lot of old stuff that we didn't need anymore, and it's kind of a fresh newness kind of card. And then the Judgment card is there any more? Is there any more that we need to let go of? Is there any more in order to create balance? Um, is there it? And so sometimes during a Judgment time period, some things that we have been ignoring or that we have been not not wanting to pay attention to and shoving under the rug come back and kind of bite us in the butt. Um, but it's always for our own good, because the things that come back around and make us uncomfortable are reminding us of things that we need to either be accountable for, or it's time to let that go. It's time to release it. It is okay to release it. It might have served a purpose before, it might have served a purpose up to this point, but it no longer serves a purpose if you want to move forward. So that's kind of the middle of the month. And then I know that this next card, which is from the 22nd to the 31st, this next card has a tendency to scare people. Please, this is not what this card is about. This is, but I'm gonna pull it anyway, and it's really not that scary in this deck, but it's the Devil card. And what the Devil card is about is, I suppose, that once you release the Judgment in the middle of the month, you can next release the shame. Because the Devil card is, when it shows up in a reading, it's like there is definitely something that you need to lighten up about. Because that's what the Devil card is about. The Devil card is showing you the areas where your guilt and your shame are not getting you anywhere, are holding you back. And also, it's time to lighten up. It can't. It also shows us the areas of our lives where we are burdening ourselves, where we are creating our own burdens. And it gives you the chance to release that. And I know, like, between the devil card and the death card, people get very, very freaked out. I don't mind when I get either of them. Maybe it's because of my particular belief system, or just I've been reading tarot for like 30 plus years. The devil card is always about it's time to lighten up. It is a teacher card. It's like, so it shows you the areas of your perceived darkness, and kind of, it shows you your arse in a way, so that you can lighten up about it. And I don't and that's really, that just feels like the strongest message for the tail end of the month. We've started something new. We have to take this leap of faith, and we have to trust that we're going to end up where we need to. We've released judgment, and we've gained some balance from that, and kind of ascertained where we want it, the next steps we want to take. And then we have to, and then basically the universe goes, do you really mean it? Because if you really mean it, this guilt and shame that you have around this stuff is useless. This stuff this stuff is holding you back. It is time to lighten up about whatever subject it is that comes up and gets uncomfortable. That does not mean that we don't take life seriously. That does not mean that we're not accountable for our actions. That does not mean that that we become evil just because it's the devil card. It's about the area, our shadow areas, our perceived shadow areas within ourselves that kind of come out, and we have to go, oh, okay, and own them, but don't feel ashamed and don't feel guilty about them. It's all part of being able to integrate that, the shadow part of ourselves. All right, so that's like the month in Major Arcana Tarot. So we were continuing this story. We've got Luathis the Wild that just wants to go, 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 let's do it now, and is very, very impatient. And the way to counteract that is to use Arval Parrot and really kind of communicate about it. Or if you're frustrated, write it out. Write it out. Dance it out. Do what you need to physically. You might need to do physical I'm sorry, that was weird. You might need to do physical things in order for you to release some of that pent up energy. Or hose yourself off, take a cold shower. You know, like I suggested to the person at the beginning of the chat that was trying to be a smart aleck. Anyway, and so I also, during these readings, I also like to pull a couple different decks. I have, because I'm a cat lady, I have the Spirit Cats deck by Nicole PR, and it's really cute. It's a very sweet deck. So we're going to pull one of these, and this is another support card. Which one is going to, what would be the most important thing to focus on this month to make the best of it? Okay, let's see what you are. So this kitty, oh, I was just talking about expressing yourself and everything. It's expression. Meet Shanti. She once kept her ideas and feelings locked away in her heart where no one could see or hear them. It felt safe and secure. But alas, she felt so alone. No one really, truly knew her. She was longing to come out and play. Gathering her courage, she flung open the window in her mind and unlatched the doorway to her soul. She started to speak her mind and give voice to her heart. She could never again fit in the small closed space of hiding. Soon her words grew into unabashed singing. What song are you keeping captive? What song at long last can you unleash into the world? So that's kind of a continuation of the Arval Parrot, which I think is kind of cool. The reason I like to do all these different card decks is because I love the way you can kind of tie them together, because it becomes like this, I like to call it like the energetic story of the month. it makes me happy to do. All right, well, let's pull another, not another cat, okay? There's another animal coming later, but not another cat. So I'm going to be using the Fairy Wisdom Oracle by Amy Brown. And I have always felt a kinship or connection with the imagery and the energy of fairies, as you can see by me using the Fairies Oracle. And always felt a connection. I have history with it. And so I'm always drawn to that sort of thing. Okay. So the card that I pulled from here, which is what our responsibilities are this month, is Forget Me Not. So let's see what she has to say. Number 6. So you can tell that with the Tarot and with the Fairies Oracle deck, they're kind of more anchored in my memory, so I don't really necessarily, unless I feel stuck, don't really necessarily need to look at the book to read the meaning. But with these cards, I don't use them as often, so I use them once a month, really. So number 6, keyword, departures. So our responsibilities are departures. So this might be leaving behind the things that hold you back. As you move along your path in life, there may be experiences and people that you leave along the way. No matter what sorrow this may bring, always look for the gift that they have given you. There is a gift within everything that comes your way, and it is up to you to allow this gift to be recognized for what it is. Some partings feel sad, some are relief, some are joyous. One thing that is for certain, all things change continually. They really do. So learn and go with the flow. Sometimes people have to leave so that you or they can grow. Sometimes they come back and sometimes they do not. Ask the fairies to help you with your feelings in order to move forward. Life is continuous and non-ending. One does not move to another city and stop existing just because you no longer can see them. So it is with passing from this earth plane. Life continues, but we here on earth cannot see life in the form that we used to. Without change there is no growth, and our souls become stagnant. Accept the changes and the departures as part of life's continuance. Life's evolving as it should. After all, people do not stay in the theater after the show is over, do they? It is important to examine past relationships. What did you learn from them? What did they give you? How did you bless each other's lives? It is okay to grieve a bit, but do it with gratitude. Whether they are in another city or have departed the planet, you can still send them messages from your mind and your heart, and they will receive them. Just be calm and relax and think what it is that you wish to tell them. The angels, guides, and the elementals will help deliver the message. So I think that's very, very sweet. That kind of talks about as we move forward and as our energy shifts and grows and evolves, sometimes we just don't vibe with the same people that we did yesterday, the day before, or a couple months ago. And sometimes people, as I get older, people pass away, and it sucks. But being myself, I feel like they're not gone. They're just, someplace else. And that doesn't mean that grief isn't valuable. And that doesn't mean that some things that we lose are not devastating, or that your feelings of devastation and loss are not valid, because they really are. It's one thing that I will say about some of these card decks, or people's messages about them in general, is I'm not necessarily about toxic positivity. I am about, okay, this is the reality. This is where we're at, but what is good? If you can shift your focus to anything that might be good, whether your shoes feel comfortable today, or whether you had really great coffee, or whatever, even if it's just a little small thing, it helps shift your focus. So that, but it doesn't mean that we are ignoring the things that really kind of suck. It's about remembering that there is good even in the middle of it. There is some good in the middle of it, but still being able to acknowledge our feelings about what's happening. You know, um, I feel that, especially with me, because I'm an overthinky thinker and I'm a problem solver, and I'm constantly 24/7 trying to solve some problems in my head, probably even when I'm sleeping. And there is absolutely no way that I could ever go through life never thinking a negative thought again. I think that's not humanly possible. And anybody who tells you that it's possible is trying to sell you something. Anyway, but so this forget me not is just to remind us that sometimes we lose things, sometimes people leave, sometimes we leave them, sometimes we have to let things go that we used to consider something that represented stability and security for us, in order for us to increase our security and stability, and move forward in our lives. And it doesn't feel good sometimes, but ultimately, um, you know, it is an upgrade. So whatever it is this month, it is somehow an upgrade. That does not mean that your feelings about losing whatever it is that you feel that you've lost, or whoever, that doesn't mean that those feelings aren't valid. It just means that there's a shift in focus needed after acknowledging how you're feeling. So we're going to pull another animal card. This is going to be, I make up different things almost every single time. The only thing that stays constant is the overarching theme and the support cards, and the parts of the month. Everything else I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants. I go with my intuition as to what. And if any of you have come over from my Facebook page, thank you for following me over here to watch the stream. This is a new thing I'm testing out. It is entertaining. And eventually I'll be able to figure out, I wonder, I'll be able to figure out how I can actually see the chat. But the beginnings of the chat was a little chaotic there, guys. All right. So I am pulling a card about what will ground us this month. What will help us ground? Because we certainly need it because of the Luathus, the wild, running around. This is the Spirit Animal Oracle. Look how pretty that is. I literally picked this deck because of that picture of the deer on the front. All right, so what will ground us? Oh, not quite grounded, but good. We got the hummingbird. Be here now. It's about being in this moment. Don't race too far ahead. Don't spend time wallowing behind. Be here in this moment. All right. It's funny when you ask for grounding and then you get a little beastie that flits around all over the place. Have you ever? I lived in Louisiana for 3 years. I lived, and my ex at the time had was had a house out in the country where he lived, and it was on the 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 route, the hummingbird's route. So at a certain point in time, he had like 7 hummingbird feeders across his back porch, and we were inundated with hummingbirds, and it was the most amazing thing. They're really funny, and they're kind of aggressive in a way with each other and with you if you get too close, and but they're so beautiful. So, hummingbird spirit, be here now. The hummingbird wings beat so swiftly that it can hover in steaming stillness as it drinks deeply from a flower. Hummingbird spirit comes to remind you that the beauty and sweetness of life is in the eternal now and the timeless present. Here and now, you are becoming the person you wish to be or to have. Ex- mm, Here and now, you are becoming the person you wish to be to have the experiences you wish to have. Focus your energy on the flower before you, for what you desire is being provided. Yes, there are blossoms everywhere. The choices can be dazzling. Hummingbird Spirit's message is that you have no need to go about in search of something better, for all you require and desire is before you. You will know this as you become still, feeling your connection to Spirit, who loves you unconditionally and will always provide for you. So, having this card, the hummingbird, be what grounds us this month, which is, to me, I think it's kind of funny. The reason I think it's kind of funny is that Luathis the Wild kind of buzzes around like a hummingbird, but not as focused. Like, doesn't have the same kind of focus. And he's not as focused on the moment that he's in. He's trying to race ahead to the next moment and the next moment and the next moment and the next moment. But hummingbird spirit is like honing in. Where's the nectar? Where's the sweetness? This is the flower. This is the flower I'm interested in. I'm right here, right now. And that's kind of what is going to ground us for the month of October when we've got all this flitty kind of energy. And again, I pulled cards about us needing to express ourselves so that we can get some of that extra fire out, some of that the yayas out. And I mean, I know that in the atmosphere right now that there is a lot of fear, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of sadness. People are feeling discouraged, scared. I said fear, didn't I? I just used another word for fear. I just can't, I just couldn't, it just had to come out. I guess they've doubled down on it. And I think that all of those are pretty valid. But also, we need to practice some self-care in the middle of it and do what is most healing and best for ourselves. And some of that is to be here right now in this moment and ask ourselves, okay, what's good? And also, I know sometimes we get into situations that seem similar to situations we were in the past. And we kind of get all caught up in that, and we what if ourselves into oblivion. Um, but the fact that we're still here, even after having experienced that and lived through whatever we've lived through up to this point, is a testament to our ability to survive and our ability to keep going and our ability to stay open to new things and allowing our path to unfold before us. I'm kicking the table, sorry. Um, there's a mantra that I started using a couple years ago, and I am having to remind myself to use it now because I realized that I forgot. And I've been kind of feeling that I forgot. And I know that mantras aren't necessarily magical things, but they can be a point of focus. And this mantra is everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. It's simple, and at first you don't believe it when you say it because we're very, very caught up in what isn't working and what we don't have, as opposed to what actually we do have, and having trouble appreciating what we do have because we're so focused on getting something that we don't have. And I realized that that particular mantra, everything is always working out for me, that I just kept saying it when I was thinking about it, or I put it like on my mirror in the house. I had it on the refrigerator, and just so that I just happened to look at it as I was passing, and taking a second to really kind of anchor it in and see if I check in with myself to see if I believed it, you know, because seriously, we could say affirmations and stuff all day long, all day, all day, all night. You can write them down all day, all night. But you know what really, really anchors it in and what really gets things moving? Do you feel it? Do you feel it? Do you feel that it is right and true in your body? Do you feel it is right and true in your body? And sometimes it takes practice to get there. It's going to take me practice to get to the place where I really believe and feel that it is right and true in my body, that everything always works out for me. It won't take me that long to get back into that place because I've been there before. It is not a completely new path, but it takes a little while initially, you know? I need a sip of water. So, what would you like to have be yours? I just realized today that I forgot that for about 4 or 5 years, before I would go to sleep at night, I would curl up in my bed because I'm a side sleeper, body pillow side sleeper, cuddle up on the body pillow, knee up, like mountaineering pose supposedly in the sleeping variation positions. And I would say, "I love you, Erin Shannon," before I went to sleep. I forgot. I've been forgetting to do that because all this stuff happened over the last year or two, and I forgot. I didn't forget that I love myself. Well, yeah, I kind of forgot that I love myself. And so that's something I need to get back into. And I highly recommend you finding your own little places where you can give yourself comfort in that way. Um, Things that you do that um, that remind you that it's okay to feel good. And that's kind of like devil card comes in at the end of the month. That's like reminding you that it is okay for you to feel good, that there's nothing there's no reason for you to be ashamed for doing little things to bring you a sense of feeling good, or a little happy, or a little joy, or laughter. I mean, laughter is very, very healing. I think the only reason why I'm still here is because I have a really dark sense of humor. That's why I don't give up. Because you know what? Oh, really? You're going to bring that? I'm going to make it funny. May not be funny to everyone, but as long as it's funny to me, I can survive it. Yeah. See, I'm all sweetness and light, but there's a darkness in there. Everybody's got some. Everybody's got some. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed this. I'm very excited, and I don't know if any of you are in the Bay Area in California, but starting on Saturday, December 14th, and on Saturday, December 21st, and Saturday, December 28th, I will be doing readings, card pulls at the Winchester Mystery House for the Menagerie and Oddities Yuletide festivities. They're there every Saturday for the month of December, and I think they were there on this Saturday, this last Saturday as well. But there are all kinds of vendors, all kinds of amazing, kind of Victorian-esque, and it's fun to be at the Winchester Mystery House. I have only been there once, so it'll be interesting to do readings there. And I'm looking forward to seeing people. I also do private readings on weekends via Facebook Messenger and other messengers, and I record them, and you get sent the recording and all of that. But I am at you'll see www.queenieintuitive.com, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel. I put my weekly card pulls up on here, and sometimes I have various other things. I am in a band called the Clarences, and sometimes we videotape our shows. And you'll see, if you check back in my videos, you'll see that we played the Modesto Porch Fest a couple years ago. And we're silly and wacky, and that's in my other persona, of which I have many. Anyway, I love you guys. I want to thank you for watching. Those of you in the chat, thank you for the chat. I am wishing you well and sending you out deep, profound healing and much love. And I'll talk to you next month. Bye, everybody.